Welcome back to Cannabis Coast to Coast News. This is the second section, or B block. I'm Elena Pinto. One of the biggest concerns in the cannabis industry over the past few months, or is it years now, is the process for the DEA to reschedule cannabis off Schedule 1 to 3. That process started with the Health and Human Services recommendation to move cannabis off the most restrictive schedule of the Controlled Substances Act. That report was delivered to the DEA in late August of 2023. That's when delay after delay after delay started in this process. Now, even the delays are being pushed back further as everyone waits for the new administration to take over. There is some good news to report that if and when the DEA ever gets around to holding another invite-only testimony, one friend of pro-cannabis media will be on hand to lend her own expertise, research, and passion for cannabis as a medicinal product. It's Dr. Marian McNabb from the Cannabis Center of Excellence right here in Massachusetts. McNabb has been named as one of 24 expert witnesses in the next round of hearings between January 21st and March 6th. Federal Administrative Law Judge John J. Mulrooney extended the invitation to another Bay State advocate this week, Ellen Brown, who personally invited Marian this week. It's at the end of those hearings that Mulrooney is expected to issue a non-binding decision to the DEA supporting or rejecting President Biden's administration ask to move cannabis to Schedule 3. McNabb will be one of the 24 invited experts who are considered pro-cannabis. 15 of those experts are for the rescheduling, if not descheduling the plant medicine. Okay, it's a good thing, we hope. Now, in the same week this was happening, the DEA, though, has come under fire by many advocates who feel that they have been favoring testimonies from more prohibitionists than advocates. That same law judge, John J. Mulrooney, had a busy week asking the DEA to respond to that charge this week. There are now allegations that the DEA gave prohibitionists preferential treatment in these hearings, contrary to the directives put forth by President Biden's administration. So now you know why we use the term cannabis standard time. You know, one step forward and two steps backward in order to delay making any moves at all. In the meantime, more and more dispensaries are going out of business. Access to banks is denied regularly, and many employees are losing their jobs, and farms are shutting down. It sounds like it might be a good time to check in with one of the nation's first states to legalize adult use sales, Colorado. Here's Xavier Jaillet.
I'm Xavier Jaillet, chairman of the Colorado chapter of the Cannabis Chamber of Commerce and a non-legal consultant with the McDonald Hopkins law firm. The news cycle this week in Colorado has been relatively slow, so I thought this would be a great opportunity here at the start of the year to draw attention to opportunities for networking, business development, and mingling with like-minded professionals in the Colorado cannabis industry. There are 3 regularly recurring networking events that I want to draw your attention to. The first of those is hosted by the Cannabis Industry Associates. They occur on a monthly basis, typically on a Wednesday, and right at happy hour time. So it's a perfect opportunity as you're coming off of work to go out, have a drink, and potentially find some like-minded folks. The second opportunity I want to draw attention to is a regularly monthly occurring happy hour hosted by Allay Consulting. Allay Consulting is one of the leading GMP and operational consulting firms in the cannabis industry, and they have a strong presence here in Colorado, and they offer that presence by hosting these regular events. The location changes month by month, but the events are typically co-hosted with another cannabis-related firm, and it's really a great way to find 50 to 100 people and, again, network and develop that business. And the final opportunity I want to draw attention to, I would be remiss not to mention this, is the monthly happy hour hosted by the Cannabis Chamber of Commerce. These typically occur on the last Wednesday of every month at a rotating host of locations, and again, offer a great opportunity for you to go and find other people that are working in the cannabis industry, other business owners, and develop business, create opportunities, and generally celebrate your successes. That's the Colorado Cannabis Report for this week. I'm Xavier Jaillet, reporting for Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
It's been a pretty busy week north of the border in Canada. First, their Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announces he's resigning as soon as his Liberal Party can elect a new leader. Then President-elect Donald Trump decides that Canada would make a great 51st state. But needless to say, that did not go over well with Canadians. Here's our own Canadian correspondent, Debi Facey.
This is Debi Facey with the Canadian Coast to Coast Cannabis News. So what we have in Canada this week is Canada finally making it a little bit more easier for the small businesses and the businesses that have been having trouble successfully being within the industry a little bit easier when it comes to them entering and being able to transfer their licensing. This is going to be not only a positive for anyone that wants to enter the industry, but it's also going to be beneficial for anyone that wants to be able to take over a license and has the money to be able to do that. Next one we have is Manitoba finally getting the go-ahead of being able to create and grow at home. This is something that they have been fighting for since legalization and is finally getting into play. This is going to be something that is not only beneficial for Manitobians, but for the industry as well, because the fact that now medical patients will be able to grow their own as well as recreational. So when it comes to the seed industry, it's always going to be a plus. This is Debi Facey with the Canadian Coast to Coast News Report. Peace.
I'm Doug Miller from High on Wall Street with this week's Cannabis Stock Report for Cannabis Coast to Coast News. Agrify Corp is selling its cannabis cultivation operation for $7 million to an investment firm affiliated with the company's former CEO, Raymond Chang. Chang said separating business segments will allow Agrify and the acquired cultivation operation to better concentrate efforts going forward. The stock price went from $2.94 on November 1st to over $84 on November 27th. And we went over it right before it reverse split in October. It's now trading around $25.15. So let's see how the stock chart looks after this news. I've been following this one. It appears to be getting to that bottom after it ran up, and now it's pulling back. I think we're going to see that reverse back up soon. So I'll be keeping an eye on it for the bottom. Watch for some dips and trade smart. And that's this week's Cannabis Stock Report. Reporting for Cannabis Coast to Coast News, I'm Doug Miller.
Minnesota has yet to open their adult use market yet, and now they are looking for a new director. Charlene Briner was the original director of the OCM, or Office of Cannabis Management. She resigned this week, and Governor Tim Walz now announced that the OCM General Counsel, Eric Tabell, will serve as an interim director. Now let's check out what's happening in Nevada. And with the tribal nations, here's Tina Tasaka.
I'm Tina Tasaka with 420 Technologies, and this is the Nevada and Tribal Nations Report for Cannabis Coast to Coast News. The Enterprise Ranchera in Wheatland, California, has opened a new dispensary near Sacramento, California. Yo Aura will offer premium flower, edibles, wellness-focused tinctures, and topicals. Yo Aura blends tribal heritage with innovation that creates a space that honors their past while embracing their future. Congratulations to this tribe, and you can visit them at www.yo-aura.com. International Star Inc., through its subsidiary Budding Equity LLC, is hitting the jackpot in cannabis innovation by partnering with industry leader Priscilla Vilchis of Premium Products LLC to bring premium cannabis brands to Nevada. Known for collaborations with cultural icons like Lil' Kim and Ric Flair, Vilchis brings unmatched expertise and market success to this venture. The partnership will see Premium Product managing the manufacturing and distribution of Budding Equity's innovation products with an anticipated launch in select Nevada dispensaries by the end of Q1. Nevada's legal cannabis sales have been declining since peaking at over $1 billion in 2021, with competition from the illicit market responsible for up to 1/3 of sales posing challenges. Legal dispensaries reported $829 million in taxable sales for the fiscal year ending June 2023, continuing a downward trend. The Cannabis Compliance Board, CCB, cites high taxes, product costs, and potency concerns as factors driving consumers to unregulated sellers. CCB enforcement focuses on licensed businesses, leaving illegal operations largely unchecked. Calls for stronger enforcement and public awareness campaigns are growing. Quote, until we're putting resources into enforcement, there's no reason unlicensed sales will stop, unquote, says Lake Martin of the Nevada Cannabis Association. This news source came from Nevada Independent, January 6th. That's it for the Nevada highlights and Tribal Nations. I'm Tina Tasaka with 420 Technologies and Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
One of the emerging success stories in the rollout of adult use states is in New Jersey. That state reached the $1 billion sales plateau in 2024, but now it's their social equity initiative that is making headlines. 47% of cannabis operations in New Jersey originated from that community that was hurt the most by the failed war on drugs. Here's Jill Goldsberry with more from the state of New Jersey.
I'm Jill Goldsberry with the New Jersey/Garden State Cannabis Report, and this is Cannabis Coast to Coast News. And here's what's happening in our neck of the woods. This week, we actually had a report from the Cannabis Regulatory Commission stating that 47% of adult use recreational license holders are minorities. So 47% is a big number. It's almost half in the state of New Jersey. And what we're finding is that out of that 47%, a large part of those business owners driving the business in the state of New Jersey are women. And we're talking about dispensaries, actual flower products, and edibles as well. So had a little brain fart there. But yeah, edibles, flower, and dispensaries are driving the industry, and a lot of these businesses are owned by women. Here are a few you might want to check out. You may want to check out the Joy Leaf Dispensary, Nightjar, owned by a woman, Butter Cake, Edibles, and Precious Cannabis, which is a pre-roll company. So those are giving you a couple of places to check out if you're in the state of New Jersey and you're looking for some women-owned brands. In other news, you may be able to order a side of cannabis with your pizza very soon, because DoorDash is now offering to deliver your cannabis products, whether it's hemp or, THC directly. But you will have to look at your local DoorDash menu to see if it's actually being offered. And we don't know exactly when this is going to start. This literally just came out the other day. So check it out on your next DoorDash one. I'm Jill Goldsberry with the New Jersey Garden State Cannabis Report, and this is Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
That'll do it for the B block of this week's Cannabis Coast to Coast News. When we come back, we'll introduce you to one of the new correspondents. This one is the Chicago clone guy. So what's better, growing with seeds or a small baby clone plant? We'll talk to the clone guy from Chicago coming up next.
It's a whole new world of weed out there, isn't it? Everyone is learning new ways to titrate, ingest, consume, imbibe, and engage with this plant medicine we call cannabis. Now let me tell you my cannabis story. You know, I've had 4 major surgeries in the past 23 years and suffer from osteoarthritis with a variety of metal parts in my body and one on deck. Now, thanks to those chronic pain issues, I've been a medical patient in Massachusetts for almost 10 years now. I remember my first trip to a dispensary just outside of Boston, and I told the bud tender I didn't want to smoke it anymore, so I tried edibles, then tinctures, then vaping, and now, if I'm going to smoke, I only use the Weegits filtration system. What? The Weegits.com, Weegits, that's weed, W-E-E-D, G-E-T-S.com, is where you'll find the planet's coolest product that cools the smoke from everyone's favorite flower. The guy that started this was a pretty good medical device manufacturer, and he created this maze pipe that cools the smoking process from 1300 degrees Fahrenheit upon inflammation down to just 90 degrees when it reaches your mouth. That's right, 1300 down to 90. That's why this maze pipe is amazing. Now, add in the code of PCMTV and you get 15% off. So just go to Weegits.com and check out the best way to enjoy a cooler smoke with less coughing and hacking and more peace of mind.